It was quite a party. No, I'm sure there was more than a party than that. And who have we got in the room so far? What have we got here? Who have we got?
What's up, fellas?
And in the middle, Cameroon. Give us a wave, Cameroon. Very good, very enthusiastic. And we see the flag coming out. Awesome. And moving in behind Cameroon, who've we got? Cameroon, you know how to party. And towards the right side of the room, Eritrea. Niger, where's Gabon? Ah, the ladies from Gabon. How are you? I remember from yesterday. Côte d'Ivoire. Bonjour. Let's hear some noise. And Ghana. Saint-Domingue, welcome, welcome. Comoros. Let's hear some noise. I see the Kenyan flag there. Go, Comoros. Flags are coming out. Chad. Hello, Zambia. And at the back, in the orange, we have a South African flag waving. Hello, South Africa. Where's Zimbabwe this morning? Ah, Nigeria, good morning. And Togo, Madagascar, Sahara, hello, Sahara. Okay. Ladies, if you've got your phones with you, can I ask you to connect with your colleagues who may be running a little late because we have not much time this morning with everybody, so please encourage your colleagues, your sisters to join us in the room. Where's Senegal? Okay. All right. Ladies, we are going to start our program today. And there are a couple of program changes just for your knowledge. So in our first session between 9:30 and running to approximately 9:15, what we're going to do is we're going to hear a reflection of dialogues. So your voices, some interest in terms of the key takeouts that you had from your experiences during your week with AfWID. And after that, we're going to have 5 minutes each from our regional representatives who've collated their thoughts for each of our 5 regions. And following that, we're going to go through our commitments. In the interests of time today, we're not going to have a tea break or intermission in today's proceedings. So we'll run through our reflections, we'll run through our regional representations, then we will do our series of commitments where we'll hear from the voices of different women, and then we'll proceed on to our closing with our thank yous, and followed by lunch. One of the things that I must say personally, what I've witnessed in the last couple of days, is that there's been a tremendous amount of courage of community, of care, and of connections amongst different women from different regions, and we have this fantastic appreciation of diversity. What I'm going to ask you now we've got mics on the right-hand side of the room in the corridor, you can see at the top there, and on the left-hand side of the room, also in the corridor here. So what I'm going to ask you, please, in the interest of time, we've got probably about 60 seconds a pop. If you can make your way, stand behind the mic, and we're going to hear some of your reflections of your experiences. And just be mindful of our limited time. So please start, and we've also got a mic here in the middle. So please make your way to the mics. I know, there we go. Thank you very much. And
we announced that there is an Angolan passport lost. If anyone found a bag with an Angolan passport, we're looking for it.
perfect. Before we go on, please, very importantly, we are all traveling out today and passports are vital. Someone has lost their Angolan passport. So if you pick up a bag, have a look inside, please either bring it to one of the representatives so that look out for an Angolan lost passport. Okay, welcome. Please say your name and give us your 30 seconds experience, name and country.
All right, thank you very much. First of all, my name is Constance Ohinewa Ankuma from Ghana and a proud WOSO fellow. So I want to, first of all, appreciate the fantastic job AfWID has done for this particular convening. And I also appreciate the fact that young women were involved in the programming. Our voices were heard and heeded too. I see publications of some of our representatives making meaningful contributions being captured, and this is something that we are going to hold on to forever, quite memorable. However, I have two recommendations going forward. First one, something happened, the unexpected happened to one of our sisters, that she had her menstruation whilst here. We went around in search of sanitary pad to help her manage the situation, and it was rather unfortunate we couldn't find any instantly. It was later that we had some. So going forward, I would recommend that an important gathering like this, we are intentional to make provision of hygiene items for us so that we can not be taken off guard.
Thank you. Well noted.
Thank you.
Okay. And so this was part of our West Africa story. And can we maybe have someone from the Saharan region on the right-hand side? Let's hear some of your voices. And next we have your name and country.
Hindia.
Hello,
My name is Hindia. I'm from Ethiopia. And I just want to say thank you very much. It was such a great experience starting from the healing sessions. I really loved that, and I still feel very calm after those sessions. And then I'm also very appreciative of the marketplace that you have helped us sit there and then allowed us to have all the income to ourselves. I think somebody mentioned that it would have been great if we could have had ATMs and then like post machines for the people there. But otherwise, very great experience. The gala was awesome. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Hindia. Please make your way to the mic.
Merci beaucoup. C'est Madame Abdelkarim Halima de Comores. Je viens du ministère de la protection, de la solidarité et de la promotion du genre. Je suis dans le programme Protection Famille et Enfants. Et là, parmi les défis évoqués dans cette rencontre et principes résultats par rapport aux discussions régionaux, j'aurais proposé d'améliorer une stratégie spécifique au développement de la femme d'une manière à ce que le volet prise de décision, que ce soit parlementaire, politique et au niveau de l'autonomisation de la femme soit une prioritaire de nos gouvernements principaux. Bien sûr, j'aurais évoqué ici que cette année, on vient de faire un petit pas dans mon pays, parce que sur 33 sièges parlementaires, au début, on avait 4 sièges. Et cette année, nous sommes arrivés à 7. Mais ce n'est pas toujours suffisant. Donc, j'aurais sollicité à ce qu'il y ait des améliorations de stratégie et de conditions d'admission aux sphères de décision. C'est-à-dire, je plaiderai à ce que, en général, les femmes, une fois arrivées aux sphères de décision, ils oublient leurs engagements et leur combat. Ils sont transformés et figés à autre chose et ils oublient que nous sommes en insuffisance d'effectifs. Donc, à ce titre, gagner une majorité parlementaire est une priorité au gouvernement, avec un gouvernement à parités égales. Parce que chaque fois qu'on parle de parités égales, nos frères, nos maris, nos frères, ils n'acceptent pas cela facilement. Donc, pour changer quelque chose d'ici 2023, au rendez-vous 2030, là, si on met le paquet avec un programme de suivi, d'ici 2030, on sera peut-être au rendez-vous par rapport aux pays africains. Donc, n'oublions pas à ce que ces stratégies doivent être mises en place avec un programme de suivi régulier en même temps. Et l'année prochaine, on pourra s'auto-évaluer pour voir ce qu'on a fait au niveau parlementaire et au niveau politique. Parce que hier après-midi, il y a ma sœur Barry qui avait évoqué ici le problème parlementaire, qu'elle se retrouve toute seule et qu'il y a une grande insuffisance dans cette majorité. Voilà ce que je voulais évoquer ici et faire des priorités parmi les priorités afin de pouvoir être à parts égales. Merci.
Thank you very much. And before we continue on the right side of the room, we're going to take a commentary from the left side of the room. Go ahead, please.
Morning, everybody. My name is Ndiboa Sikoba from South Africa. Firstly, I want to greet all of you. Something that I've learned from this gathering is that we practice love and we implement love. We love one another as African women. We might be from different regions, but we share the same sentiments. The agenda is one, emancipation of women. As this gathering, I think what we need to do is to develop a tool that will be easily implemented to advocate for ourselves. I really want to say to all of you who are going out to your different countries, don't forget South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Je me nomme Man Fidèle. Je suis de la Côte d'Ivoire, à l'ouest, fin fond de la Côte d'Ivoire. J'étais au campement, je suis planteur de profession, et j'étais au campement quand la coordinatrice m'a appelé pour dire « Tu vas partir à Johannesburg ». Et je me suis dit « Est-ce que moi, du campement, je peux aller à Johannesburg. Pour faire quoi? Pour dire quoi? Je ne sais même pas parler le français pour aller parler l'anglais. Elle dit, il faut venir. Et quand je suis arrivée, j'étais morte de peur. Quand je vois les gens, j'ai envie de rentrer dans ma chambre et rester là-bas. Mais AfWID a balayé cette peur en moi. AfWID m'a remis en confiance. J'ai trouvé des femmes qui font aussi l'agriculture comme moi. j'ai pensé que il n'y a que des ambassadeurs, des ministres, des grandes femmes ici. Mais je suis parmi ces grandes femmes avec ma fonction de planteur. Ce que je retiens dans AfWID, c'est que AfWID a une mentalité d'amour. Dans l'ADN de AfWID, il y a l'amour. AfWID a un esprit de discernement. AfWID ne pense pas seulement à ceux qui ont les moyens, mais AfWID a un microscope très performant qui voit les difficultés, les femmes en difficulté et qui leur donne la joie. Hier, j'ai dansé pas comme d'habitude. J'ai bu pas comme d'habitude parce que je ne gagne pas la boisson là tous les jours. Au campement, c'est de l'eau de marigot qu'on boit. Mais j'ai bu hier et la trop grande fatigue m'a plongé dans un sommeil comateux. Je voudrais, comme recommandation, dire à AfWID de ne pas baisser les bras, de continuer à travailler pour le bien-être des femmes marginalisées. Le micro, je ne veux pas le posséder moi seul. Sinon, j'avais beaucoup à dire. Je voudrais dire à AfWID que je suis le témoin oculaire des bienfaits que AfWID peut apporter aux femmes planteurs. Mes images vous parviendront, ceux qui ont pris mes contacts. Comment je lance la machette, comment je travaille avec la houe. Je voudrais dire merci pour finir à notre brave coordinatrice, Madame Maï Cabran. Mais cette femme, je demande à tous les anges du ciel de la bénir, de la protéger. Tout ce qu'elle a fait pour nous. Nous sommes 2 ici, mais on a rempli la salle. Je sais parler maintenant l'anglais. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine. You are beautiful woman.
Thank you, Côte d'Ivoire. Can we get an AfWID? In the room, let's hear AfWID.
Okay.
Okay, and over,
I'm here.
perfect. Where? Left, thank you
Yes.
very much. Hello, go ahead.
Merci, merci, merci beaucoup. Merci aux organisatrices de AfWID. Merci aux différentes coordinatrices. Merci à la coordinatrice de l'Afrique centrale qui n'a ménagé aucun effort pour rassembler toute cette délégation centrale. Dans AfWID, nous avons beaucoup appris, quand bien même nous ayons déjà des expériences dans de tels forums. On apprend toujours. On apprend toujours. On a appris le sens de la solidarité. On a appris le sens de briser les barrières. On a appris que malgré nos diversités culturelles, linguistiques, nous devrons être unis pour défendre les intérêts spécifiques des femmes africaines. Ça, nous l'avons appris ici, dans ce forum. Aussi, ce que j'ai personnellement appris, c'est la mobilisation des femmes qui sont derrière les rois. On nous utilise pour mobiliser et faire des rois, mais quand ces rois sont déjà assis, ils nous oublient. C'est ce que j'ai appris. Maintenant, il est question de changer de stratégie. Quelle est la stratégie que nous devrons adopter pour ne pas être divisés en nos seins, puisque nous menons la même lutte. Notre lutte, c'est pour l'intérêt commun de toutes les femmes là où nous sommes, qu'elles soient rurales, qu'elles soient urbaines, qu'elles soient cultivatrices, qu'elles soient commerçantes, qu'elles soient entrepreneurs, qu'elles soient, nous devrons être unis. Ce sont ces diversités qui font donc des femmes une richesse, et dans cette richesse, nous devrons les exploiter dans l'unité, dans la solidarité, pour en fait travailler pour le développement de notre Afrique. La recommandation que je voudrais faire en tant que Tchadienne, bien sûr, je suis Yodamne Marie, je viens du Tchad. Je suis la présidente nationale d'un grand réseau qui rassemble beaucoup de femmes du milieu rural tout comme du milieu urbain. Je suis en plein dedans, je connais leurs problèmes. Je descends sur le terrain, je m'assieds avec les femmes du Nord, je m'assieds avec les femmes du Centre, je m'assieds avec les femmes du Sud. Je connais leurs problèmes et je formule des réponses. Ce que AfWID doit nous aider à faire, c'est de faire un fort plaidoyer à n'importe quel moyen pour que tout projet élaboré par les femmes, n'importe où qu'elles soient, soit bien porté. C'est cette stratégie de mobilisation des ressources propres pour mener nos activités qui posent problème aux femmes africaines. Donc mon plaidoyer, c'est de nous aider à renforcer nos capacités pour mobiliser les fonds afin de mener nos activités. Je vous remercie.
Merci.
Good morning, lovely women in the house. Hi. My name is Nogukang, and I'll be helping Miss Soraya, or rather Miss B, to read out lovely messages from around the country. That is a responsibility of you too. Every child is innocent. Save them from fear. Human solidarity, the continent of Africa. DRC, a crisis the world can no longer afford to ignore. Kikwit, DR Congo, March 24, 2018. The numbers are hard to fathom. Nearly 2 million people driven from their homes in 2019 alone. The worst cholera epidemic of the past 15 years, with over 55,000 cases and more than 1,000 deaths. Countless others killed, maimed, or sexually assaulted. Burkina Faso, Sub-Saharan Africa, save the children from conflicts and crisis in Africa. This is from Palestine. Children judged in military courts for thinking and slapping, killed during Gaza bombing. This is from Burundi. Global hunger index 35.6. Think twice about wasting food again. This is from Ethiopia. A global hunger index 24.4. Think twice about wasting food again. Somalia. Fleeing the country, lack of food. This is Eritrea. Thinking twice about wasting food again. From Syria, children in war and conflict. South Sudan, 16,000 children have been recruited as child soldiers since the start of the country's civil war in 2013. From Comoros, think twice about wasting food again. human solidarity, the continent of Africa. Thank you.
These are laminated sheets of workshop material that I use in the schools. If we want to teach our children, we need to do these things, and we can't afford flip charts or everything else. So this is what I do, and this is what, there's a lot more, because the whole of Africa, I've got this, and this is how we go about ensuring we pass on our knowledge to the children of the world. For Africa, we need a lot of work. So please, take heed of how you can do it. Don't feel you can't do anything. We all can do something. I thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning, all.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Okay, I am from Eritrea. My name is Shua. What I want to, first I am very thankful for those who have organized and coordinated this conference, this successful conference. I am really happy and proud to exchange ideas and experiences with all African women here. And I have learned also a lot from the others. Only I thank also for AfWID. What I want to say is, really, in all our agendas in this week, we have forgotten our sisters who are victims of sexual violence. It means forced, who are forced prostitution, and also victims of sexual transmitted diseases. A lot of African women, because of poverty, there are smugglers. They come to their country and they promise them in Europe or in America or somewhere in other countries that they will get a better job and they will be paid more. But this is a promise. What they promise, it is not really. They use them for prostitution. They are not. They are forced, and really they become psychologically and also. They are also victims of this disease. So please, we have to talk about this. In Europe, for example, even European Union, it's an agenda. But in our agenda this time, we don't talk about that. These ladies, those who are victims of forced prostitution, and also about prostitution, this also, we have to talk about this, please. We have not to see it as a taboo. I need it for the next time to be an agenda.
Thank you, Eritrea. And we're going to just go to the line on the left, and then we'll come back to the middle as rotation. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Dumi from Botswana. We curated a collective of LGBT organizations attending AfWID 2025. I'll read a poem before we give our 3 recommendations. We are here, we are queer, attending AfWID in 2025. We are here, we are queer, a reflection of our Africa in 2025. We are here, we are queer, sexualization and sexual harassment without shame. We are here, we are queer, surviving stares and harmful narratives. We are here, we are queer, surviving AfWID 2025. We are here, we are queer, no diverse representation on panels and speakers. We are here, we are queer, inaccessibility and exclusion of diversity as a norm. We are here, we are queer, excluded at AfWID 2025. No side events, no sex workers. We are here, we are queer, with disabilities, living with HIV, surviving phobia and misogyny from our own. We are here, we are queer, repressed by governments and our own country groups at AfWID 2025. We are here, we are queer, misgendered and enduring passive aggression. We are here, we are queer, subjected to dead names and wrong pronouns. We are here, we are queer, do better, Be better. We are here. We are queer. Stronger and coming out of AfWID 2025, unequivocally queer and unapologetically African.
We are queer.
As a queer community, my name is Refilo Masawana. I'm from Lesotho, and we have recommendations. And the recommendation is to strengthen safeguarding and accommodate sexual orientation, gender identity, and sex characteristics. And women are not monolith. Let's just reflect their experiences on the ground, including disability, sex work, and human rights. And the last recommendation from the queer community will be like, we should tackle intergenerational differences and ensure we leave no one behind in this, and can be achieved through co-creation, participatory engagement, and less hierarchies to ensure inclusion and equity. We thank you.
Thank you. And we're now moving to the middle of the room.
Thank you very much. My name is Kengafa Gikeria. I'm a Warsaw Fellow. I'm coming from Cameroon. We had a lot of enlightening sessions from day one up to yesterday. And the main thing I gathered is the need for women to come together in solidarity and keep building the momentum to collectively promote gender equality, because it's the work of every woman, and one woman's problem is the problem of every woman. While we held our backlash session yesterday, and I also participated in the session for Central Africa, one of the things I gathered was the fact that women are able to not just come, but share their lived experiences of what backlash is in their community, like resistance, like refusal to cooperate with them and to collaborate with them. Also, one of the things I picked out, which I'm going to share as a recommendation, is for women as entrepreneurs who came here. Some of them, while on side conversations, explained that they didn't have an opportunity to have practical skills acquisition sessions, and it will be recommended in the next AfWID to come, we could find ways for women who are entrepreneurs and who own small businesses to come together and find new skills that they can build and how they can better build their businesses and become financially independent. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cameroon. Over to Nigeria.
Thank you very much. My name is Chimebi Koripa Magaria. I was actually in Beijing in 1995. And the first thing is there wasn't this kind of solidarity amongst Africans in Beijing. So I want to thank AfWID for this opportunity of bringing everybody together. Sitting here for 5 days, I realized that the issues and concerns of women are non-political, not national, not religious. They just are problems that cut across African women. Of course, there are differences in countries, because there are different peculiarities in our countries. But the issues and concerns of women that have been discussed here are universal. And I would hope that as we all go back, we must learn to engage. Forget about political differences, because it's the politicians. If this meeting was held in Addis, at the AU, there would have been contentions. But there has been no contentious issues here because we all suffer the same fate. Like Hillary Clinton said in Kwairu in Beijing, human rights are women's rights, or women's rights are human rights. Trafficking of women, the health of women, hunger, particularly peace. And I think I want to advocate that as we all go back, particularly the regions where there are conflicts, that women must step up, like the women of Manu River did in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. Step up and speak up and engage the men. The men create these problems. The impact is on women. Having said that, women are also enablers. Women are also beneficiaries. Women are also promoters. So we must assess ourselves and engage in the peace process. I'm speaking on behalf of the Nigerian group. We're happy to be here, and we wish everybody happy travels, safe travels, and I look forward to meeting most of you. I hope that you're all going to be in New York, but if not, please, the outcome and recommendations of this meeting should be sent to countries so that those who are able to engage with their government delegations, because that's where it's important. Whatever we say here, if we don't pass it on to our government representative to adopt in the outcome document, it's meaningless. So we must all go back, present the recommendations, and plead that these recommendations here should be integrated in whatever it is that government thinks women need. We've all spoken and we are all agreed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And ladies, we have got a few minutes left in our wrap-up here, so let's keep the momentum going and keep your stories short. I know it's hard. Go ahead.
Good morning, beautiful women of Africa. My name is Ngwana Mary. I'm from Cameroon. I want to share my experience during the process of our passport and visa. When I went to apply for the passport, the lady that was involved asked me to fill some places in the file. So when I went there, I asked her to show me where she wanted me to fill. She said, look at somebody who wants to travel out. You cannot even fill your form. I said, Madam, sorry, I'm the low class. No matter I'm going to South Africa, I don't know anything, but they say my voice will be needed there because they need some of us that do not go to school. We don't know anything. We are just road seller in our country. So I was opportune to be selected. So I want to appreciate the AfWID and the organizer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Makeo, and I'm from Cameroon. Actually, it has been a very interesting and very enriching journey so far. I am particularly very excited and happy that I was one of the delegates from my country to be part of this great convening this year. So I just have a quick recommendation. I know that AfWID is ending today, but to me, it is just the beginning of something really great. And the recommendation goes to all of us. As we are living AfWID today, I want us to bear in mind that it doesn't end here. When we go back to our various communities and countries, we should try as much as possible to continue with the momentum. We've been talking a lot about building solidarity and standing in solidarity, supporting one another. It will be of no use if after we leave here and we just go back and we continue with our different activities and forget the real reason why we came here. So as we go back, we should continue with that momentum so that by the time we are gathering here in 2 years to come, we will have more stories and experiences to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bonjour à tous. Les leaders de l'Afrique de l'Ouest, francophone, faites du bruit dans la salle, s'il vous plaît. Je sais que vous êtes très nombreuses. Les leaders de l'Afrique de l'Ouest francophone, faites du bruit, s'il vous plaît. Les femmes d'impact, je ne vous entends pas. Bonjour à tous, je suis Madame Lia Yeri. Je viens de la Côte d'Ivoire. Je suis avec Madame Cabran Maïmouna Ouattara, coordonnatrice régionale de l'Afrique de l'Ouest francophone. Et je suis à AfWID encore cette année parce que j'ai déjà participé à AfWID en 2019 en tant que coordonnatrice nationale. Nous sommes venus avec une délégation, une forte délégation de 16 femmes. Et nous avons pu bénéficier de vraiment tous ces outils que AfWID met à la disposition de la femme africaine pour que non seulement elle puisse se connaître, rentrer en elle, briser les barrières et aussi se prendre en charge en lui permettant de développer son personal branding, c'est-à-dire savoir qu'elle est capable, savoir permettre à la femme de reprendre confiance en elle et d'avancer pour réaliser son rêve, devenir une femme autonome pour impacter sa nation. Et cela fut mon cas et le cas de ces 16 femmes qui étaient venues en 2019. Donc je vous dis que quand j'ai quitté AfWID, moi j'étais entrepreneur, je travaillais dans beaucoup de secteurs d'activité, mais c'est à AfWID que j'ai découvert mon génie. C'est-à-dire ce que j'ai toujours aimé faire, mais que je ne mettais pas en pratique. Quand j'ai vu les autres femmes faire, je me suis dit, mais attends, mais c'est ça que je dois normalement faire. Et j'ai commencé à le faire, c'est l'agro-transformation. C'est-à-dire, je prends les produits agricoles et je les transforme et je les vends dans les supermarchés. Et cela m'a permis aujourd'hui de pouvoir avoir des prix en Côte d'Ivoire. En 2022, 2023, 2024, j'ai eu 3 années j'ai été lauréate du prix Dr Diarra Suleiman, notre ministre du Commerce et de l'Industrie de Côte d'Ivoire, de la meilleure agrotransformatrice de Côte d'Ivoire. Et aussi, nous ne sommes pas arrêtés là. Nous avons créé une boutique en Côte d'Ivoire où les femmes, ces femmes qui font la transformation, puisque nous aidons les femmes à faire la transformation en Côte d'Ivoire. Et nous avons ouvert des boutiques et certaines vendent dans ces boutiques, vont déposer leurs produits dans ces boutiques-là et les vendent. Et nous continuons cette démarche-là en Côte d'Ivoire, mais nous avons aussi pu le faire dans tous les pays, les 11 pays que Maïmouna Ouattara a dirigés en 2019 et cette année. Et nous comptons aller à l'union, c'est-à-dire nous allons créer des femmes fortes en créant une union de ces 11 pays d'Afrique pour que AfWID, ce que AfWID a commencé ici, vous puissiez voir l'impact et que cela soit un modèle pour les autres pays, de l'Afrique de l'Ouest anglophone. Je vous remercie.
Merci. Okay, and ladies, these will be our last 3 responses coming through. So please go ahead on the left.
Good morning. I'm Grace Mwange from Zambia. I advocate for the rights of people with albinism. I'm going to talk about, first of all, I want to appreciate AfWID for having me as a delegate. This was my first time. Thank you. I'm going to talk about albinism. Where I come from, there's a lot of myth and misconception that if a child with albinism is born, it's a mother's fault. They believe that it's either she committed adultery or she did, they are cursed from where they come from. So we have a lot of mothers out there who have children with albinism who are abandoned by their husbands. And this has caused a lot of mothers to feel isolated. So I would appreciate if AfWID will consider advocating for their policies that would make women in our country to feel included. Because even as they go and take care of their children, they don't feel accommodated. They don't feel like they are part of other women. They feel they are a case. It is difficult for them to raise those children. So this is all I would consider AfWID to consider women with albinism to join us, to feel they are welcome, to feel they are not a case. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Revolutionary greetings to everyone in the room. My name is Zintle Kobeni Dilanga, and I'm also a fellow from South Africa. Right, so I first wanted to thank you as AfWID, the organizers, for opening the session for us with all the different prayer groups or religious groups that came to represent those spirits, the good spirits that is, they stayed with us, some of us, and we navigated the space depending and relying on those spirits. So thank you very much for that. And speaking of spirits, I actually have a testimony of what it means when we say that good spirits gravitate towards good spirits. And so will the bad spirits. They will gravitate towards other bad spirits. So this morning as I was walking in, Uma Vilagazi, our great organizer over there, I bumped into her and she said to me, oh, the ladies are not inside yet and we need to start. Could you please go and ask the women, just walk around and just ask them to come through. And so I did that, and she pointed me and she said, you need to go where everyone is having breakfast. That's where everybody else is. And I walked in there, and that's where everybody was. Started walking across all the tables, and I said, ladies, we need to get inside the auditorium. We are needed in there. And as I was walking around, talking to different people, I bumped into this woman, very great woman, Umama Ukara Mary Wahu from Kenya. So when I saw her sitting on the table, I thought to myself, because she was here giving a very powerful speech the other day, and I said to myself, oh my goodness, do I walk to that table and speak to Mama Mary? Then I said, okay, cool. Spirit, lead me and give me the power to go and speak to Mama Mary to tell her that she's needed inside. And so I did. And as I got to the table, I told her, Mama, you are needed in there. You are a legend. If you get up and you go, everybody will follow. And she said to me, my girl, your spirit is very sharp. Your spirit is very much moving. And she said, I'm coming just now. And as we were talking here, everybody, some of the speakers that came to the front, or rather was speaking, kept on mentioning this power of the spirit, the power of the spirit. And I thought to myself, it's because of how we opened the session, how we opened the program. The good spirit definitely overcame the bad spirit that would have otherwise maybe came and tried to distract us from what we were doing and what we came here to do. So I want to thank legends like Mama Mary and to say Asante Mama. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you for that fantastic message. And last one.
Okay, thank you. My name is Anne Wajira. I come from Kenya, where Mama Wahu comes from. She is my mentor. I would like to take this opportunity to thank AfWID for organizing this meeting, because it was all-inclusive. And we, as elder people, we were not marginalized. So thank you so much even for the young girls who are here, young women. You really embraced us even with our age. So I'd like maybe to say that all what we have discussed here and recommendation, it will be very good if the coordinators, Badili, where I'm coming from, and the rest, and other organizations should go back and make sure that this one is the information which you have gotten here and the report. The recommendation is that let us go back in our countries, organize forums, dialogues where we include even our government representatives, our women leaders, the chairmas and the rest, so that they are able now to understand what is AfWID, and they're also able to also push for the outcome of this meeting in our different countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Henshaw. I'm from Liberia, and I serve as the executive of the Lesbian and Gay Association of Liberia, for short, legal. I want to take this time to commend AfWID, because this is my first time in this space, and like my sister was talking about spirit, I came across a lot of good spirits with good energy. I have one recommendation to AfWID. When we're talking about women, peace, and security, let us also think about LGBTQ women, because most of the time we are left out of decision making. So for this convening, I want us to look at the issue of women, peace, security, and social economic justice that will include LGBTQ women, because we are the more vulnerable population within the continent. Right now, we're seeing the wave of anti-homosexuality bill that's flowing around the region. It's also affecting us as people. So we want to appeal to AfWID. Please use your space and advocate for our social justice. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody. Unfortunately, we don't have time to take any more conversations. 30 seconds. On the clock. Go.
Bonjour, à toutes les femmes africaines. Moi, c'est Dr Mbalia Touré. Je viens de la délégation sénégalaise. Je tenais à remercier particulièrement les organisateurs de AfWID et plus particulièrement notre coordonnatrice de l'Afrique de l'Ouest, Madame Cabran Maï-Ouattara, et celle du Sénégal aussi, Madame Bigué Ndao. C'est ma première participation, et à travers les ateliers que j'ai eu à participer, en fait, je ne connaissais pas l'objectif de AfWID. C'est à travers ces ateliers que je me suis rendu compte qu'en fait, nous sommes là parce que nous avons tous les mêmes problèmes. Les problèmes que les femmes sénégalaises rencontrent au Sénégal se retrouvent presque dans toutes les régions de l'Afrique, toutes les zones. Ce sont les mêmes inégalités, les mêmes discriminations que nous retrouvons dans toutes les zones. Et AfWID nous a permis ici de pouvoir avoir des moyens de pouvoir, comment dirais-je, transmettre les connaissances que nous avons apprises ici à d'autres femmes dans nos pays. Nous promettons donc de devenir des ambassadrices dans nos pays et de pouvoir transmettre ces connaissances. Maintenant, concernant les recommandations, comme moi je suis du domaine de la santé, j'aurais aussi préféré qu'il y ait beaucoup plus d'ateliers aussi sur la santé, parce que sans la santé, rien n'est possible. Et de donner de meilleures stratégies pour que ces femmes-là puissent faire un dialogue avec les politiques et que ces politiques-là puissent financer les femmes en vue de leur autonomisation. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, thank you. Ladies, I wish that we could hear from every single voice that is in the room, but unfortunately we are now out of time for this part of the program. But please continue to engage with one another and just sharing some top-line insights from the conversations that we've heard today. We have got multiple generations represented in this room, from the wisdom of Mary to the youth of today. We have seen a tremendous diversity in terms of people's different backgrounds, their different interest groups, the different regions that we come from, whether we live in rural areas, whether we live in urban areas. It doesn't matter what your designation is or where you come from, but AfWID has been an incredibly inclusive platform for you to come through. And one of the things that I would say to you is that I hope you appreciate that the power that you found within yourselves, the power that you take away when you return to your home countries, and thinking about your responsibility, not just to yourself, to the sisters that you've engaged with here, and to your sisters when you return to your home environment. So thank you very much for everybody attending today's session, as well as the 5 days of AfWID. And we are now going to move across to our regional reports. So if I could please call upon the regional representatives to come up onto the platform, and each of you will be allotted 5 minutes to share your views. So please come onto the platform. We're calling on Mariam Tourev from West Africa as the representative. Fantastic, thank you. Hello. Ladies, we're looking for our North Africa representative. I don't, who's? North Africa, we're looking for you. All right, in the interests of our programs and timing constraints, which is always a concern when we have gatherings like this, we will commence with feedback from our regions. And I think we'll start, we'll go in order of from my left side, so we'll start with Southern African representation, followed through by Central African representation, then East African representation, West Africa, and hopefully North Africa will arrive in the course of conversation. Ladies, you've got 5 minutes to share your findings, your feedback, your feelings, your sentiment from a regional perspective. So, Southern Africa, if you can please take the podium, if you're not mic'd up, and go forward. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Good morning, beautiful ladies. In the interest of time, my name is Alice Banzi. I'll be reading the report, the feedback report from the Southern Africa region. But because I'll be leaving, apologize, our director program, I have to say thank you on behalf of my sisters that will be leaving soon to the airport, and I would like to thank the Membegi and her team and all the sisters in this room for solidarity during these past days, and also to thank our elders that they're here in the room. I'll not mention all of them, and the women that they are willing really to support the situation in Mozambique. Call to action for the SADC region consultation at the AfWID conference. We, the women of SADC region, express our deep concern over the escalating violence in our region, including Mozambique and the DRC, where lives are being lost, livelihoods shattered, and women and children are facing extreme vulnerability, including sexual violence. We stand in unwavering solidarity with the women of Mozambique and the DRC, recognizing that instability they face today is a warning of a broader threat to peace and security across our region. We acknowledge the SADC's effort demonstrated at this critical moment. Now than ever, we need decisive regional leadership to protect our people, uphold peace, and counter the violent exploitation of our natural resources, which fuel conflict and aggression. Our women and children continue to experience the disproportionate impact of conflict on their lives and bodies. On Mozambique and the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, we call for immediate
humanitarian aid, safe shelters, trauma-informed care, and legal justice for displaced and conflict-affected women, ensuring their protection, dignity, and accountability for perpetrators. We demand for strengthening the Women-led Peace Forum for dialogue, equal representation in peace process, and the inclusion of women in security and governance to ensure sustainable and just conflict resolution in Mozambique and DRC. We call for community-led early warning system, gender-sensitive security measures, and demilitarization effort to protect women and children from violence and conflict in Mozambique and DRC. We call for amplifying women's voices through media, storytelling, and journalism to counter misinformation, expose injustice, and bring global attention to their resilience and resistance. Our regional peace and security, we call upon SADC heads of states and governments to take urgent diplomatic and security measures to prevent further violence, ensure the protection of civilians, particularly women and children. Ensure a coordinated regional response that prioritizes the women, peace and security, peace building, human rights protection, and sustainable conflict resolution. Activate and strengthen the early warning mechanism to identify and prevent conflicts before they escalate. Engage in transparent and accountable peace dialogue that includes of women and civil society organizations. Hold perpetrators accountable for war crimes, including sexual violence, and take strong measures against those who enable and profit from the violence, exploitation of natural resources. We call upon SADC heads of states and government to take urgent actions on regional food insecurity, sexual violence, including incest of girl child, economic empowerment, just to mention 3 priorities. We call upon civil society, women's movements, and human rights organizations to effectively support women in Mozambique and DRC amid ongoing conflict and instability. Action must be multi-layered, transformative, and driven by women, leadership, and solidarity. Our commitment. As women of SADC region, we will continue to unite, mobilize, and demand action. We refuse to remain silent as our communities are torn apart by the war and exploitation. We call upon all stakeholders, I'm just in the final, we call upon all stakeholders, government, regional and international bodies, civil society, the private sector, traditional, faith, and political leaders to take responsibility, denounce, and act decisively, and take action. I thank you on behalf of the SADC region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Southern African representation really conveying the message of one of peace and security, protection of women in conflict environments, and putting out an appeal for politicians to do their jobs. Thank you very much. Central Africa, are you ready? Please take the podium, and your 5 minutes will be starting shortly. Floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm speaking French. Voici la liste des propositions de l'Afrique centrale. Le Cameroun, l'Angola, le Tchad, le Gabon, la Guinée équatoriale, la RDC, le Congo-Brazzaville, Sao Tomé et Principe et la Centrafrique. La situation des droits des femmes en Afrique centrale est complexe et varie considérablement d'un pays à l'autre. Bien que des progrès soient réalisés grâce aux efforts des gouvernements, des organisations de la société civile et de la communauté internationale, il reste encore beaucoup à faire pour garantir l'égalité des sexes dans la région. Les points à retenir: la solidarité entre femmes, un élément crucial dans la lutte des droits des femmes. Ensemble, nous serons plus fortes pour relever les défis. Les violences faites aux femmes est un problème majeur qui persiste dans nos différents pays. L'accès limité aux ressources économiques et financières pour les femmes. Impliquer les jeunes filles dans la lutte intergénérationnelle pour leurs droits. Rester mobilisés, ne pas se laisser décourager dans la lutte pour les droits des femmes. Les difficultés d'accès aux semences pour les femmes agricultrices. Les principales recommandations: continuer les débats sur les différentes thématiques initiées lors de ce forum, tels que paix et sécurité, mouvements féministes et tous les sujets qui ont émergé lors de nos discussions. Mettre en place un comité de suivi et évaluation de la condition des femmes dans chaque pays afin d'identifier les lacunes et d'arriver au prochain forum avec des propositions concrètes et ciblées. Annexer au programme de AfWID avec le profil des différents participants ainsi que la liste et les contacts de différents bailleurs. Cela pourra aider dans l'accès au financement. Assurer la traduction dans toutes les langues des pays représentés, ainsi que sur tous les supports numériques et visuels, y compris en langue des signes. La voie à suivre. Présenter les recommandations de ce forum à la Commission de l'Union africaine. Plaider en faveur de l'égalité des sexes pour une Afrique plus inclusive des femmes, y compris celles vivant avec un handicap. Adopter une proposition commune et solidaire de l'Afrique en faveur des droits des femmes. Amanda! 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 Thank you.
Thank you very much, Central Africa, and a strong call there for women's rights and equality. And East Africa, we will let you take some water before you take the podium.
Viva African women, viva. Viva, viva African women, viva. Viva. Power African women, power. Power African women, power. My name is Saida Ali from Kenya. I'm going to be representing the East African region. East African women in all our diversities from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Sudan, South Sudan, Rwanda, Burundi, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Somalia. We come from one of the most volatile regions in this continent. But we remain grateful, and we are especially grateful for the AfWID space. We have some emerging themes that I would like to share today based on our discussions. One, inclusivity. We acknowledge and appreciate that AfWID has been and is an inclusive space. We, however, call for us to be more intentional in our inclusion. During this time, especially during this time of the rise in the anti-gender, anti-rights movements, and the reinforcement of the global gag rule. We therefore ask each other, because this is not about AfWID, we are AfWID, we ask each other to be more intentional when we are inviting and being and interacting with our sisters with disability. We must go the next mile to make sure we do more, so that then there is sign language interpretation, so that then there is more space that is conscious to the fact that some of us are visually impaired. So when we have exercises that say, look at something, we recognize that actually there are sisters who cannot do that. When we say, draw your foot, we recognize that there are sisters who've been amputated. We call upon all of us to recognize that as a region, as a continent that has a lot of conflicts, we will continue to have a rise in the number of widows amongst us. So I really want to salute and to say hello and bravo to the widows that are here, and thank you to AfWID as well. We recognize that in our continent, sisters, in our continent, we do have people who are discriminated because of their sexual orientation, gender identity, expressions, sex characteristics, and that we must remember to stand with them and to always make them welcome, because we are, I am because we are. Two, Pan-African women's solidarity with countries in conflict. We need more sustained solidarity with countries in conflict. And when I say we, I mean each one of us needs to commit to that. And so just to mention and to reiterate what our sister from Southern Africa said around the Democratic Republic of Congo, the forgotten war in Sudan, Mozambique, that we also know there is pain in the histories of our sisters in South Sudan. There is pain in the histories of our sisters in Eritrea, sisters in South Sudan, that we all remember that women are still dealing with the impact of what happened in Somalia, and that some of our sisters are yearning for home, Rwanda, Somalia, Eritrea. They're yearning for home in places where they're not wanted because they've been dispersed by the disruptions, different disruptions in our countries. I would like to also mention the All Sahel region. We stand in solidarity with you. The All Sahel region because of conflicts, but I recognize you, my sisters, from West Sahara as well. Thank you. Food insecurity or food security and food sovereignty. We recognize that food is politically a women's preserve in terms of production and distribution. Women feed the nation. Come on, everyone say, women feed the nation. I don't hear you. Women feed the nation. Women feed the nation. Women feed this continent. We recognize and emphasize as East Africans the need to have our seeds, our indigenous seeds preserved. Women's health. There are some health issues that are visible and others that are invisible. We reiterate the importance of women's bodily autonomy and integrity. We have countries where women continuously are not able to even sign for things that are going to happen to them, to their bodies. Somalia, Somaliland, I see you. And so we commit as East Africans to recognize that amongst us there are certain health issues that might not be seen, and there are others that are visible. And it's important to encourage and to carry our younger sisters along to understand the value of contraception, to educate them so that then they do not end up, or we don't have to have this conversation 30 years again to say that young women have not understood what's going on with their bodies. Our commitment is that we will strengthen our movements. We recognize that our movements are fragmented. We are going to start with country AfWIDs, and we are going to have the East African reunion, and we call upon everyone today to go with a commitment to do something around strengthening the women's movement. I thank you very much. Power, African women, power. Viva African women, viva. Viva African women, viva. African women on the front line. Organize, educate. East Africans, African women on the front line. Organize, educate, liberate, celebrate. African women in the front lines. Organize, educate, liberate, celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you, East Africa. And over to West Africa. Please take the podium.
السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام. Je représente ici l'Afrique de l'Ouest. Et je vais lire le rapport de la séance d'échange entre les femmes et les participants de l'AfWID d'Afrique de l'Ouest sur les droits et les préoccupations des femmes en 2025. Johannesburg, le 30 janvier 2025. Les oratrices, Madame Maïmouna Kabran Ouattara et Madame Chiniere. Une introduction. Cette séance d'échange a réuni des femmes de 17 pays de l'Afrique de l'Ouest. Les pays de l'Afrique de l'Ouest sont Sahara occidental, Sénégal, Guinée, Côte d'Ivoire, Niger, Bénin, Togo, Mali, Guinée-Bissau, Mauritanie, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Libéria, Gambie, Ghana, Sierra Leone et Cap-Vert. Afin d'échanger sur leurs impressions à la suite des 5 journées de travail effectuées dans le cadre d'AfWID 2025 et des préoccupations actuelles des femmes africaines dans leurs milieux respectifs. L'objectif était d'identifier les avancées, les défis partisans et de proposer des solutions concrètes pour l'émancipation des femmes africaines en 2025. Thèmes abordés pendant les journées d'échange. Premièrement, droits des femmes en Afrique, avancées, défis. Le premier point, bilan des progrès en matière de droits des femmes, reconnaissance juridique, parité en politique, accès à l'éducation et à la santé. Le deuxième point, obstacles persistants, violence basée sur les genres, discrimination dans l'emploi et accès limité à la justice. Le troisième point, réformes nécessaires pour garantir l'application effective des lois sur l'égalité. 2. Autonomisation économique des femmes. Accès des femmes à l'entrepreneuriat et au financement. Le deuxième point, promotion de l'économie numérique pour les femmes. Troisième point, initiative pour renforcer l'inclusion économique et sociale. 3. Santé et bien-être des femmes. Sensibilisation aux questions de santé mentale et soutien psychologique. Impact des politiques de santé publique sur les femmes. 4. Rôle des femmes dans la gouvernance et la prise de décision. Le premier point, encourager la participation des femmes à la politique et aux postes de direction. 2. Deuxième point, renforcer des capacités des femmes leaders. Le troisième point, engagement des jeunes filles dans les prises de décision et de leadership. Recommandations et préoccupations. Premièrement, renforcer l'application des lois en faveur des droits des femmes et lutter contre les violences faites aux femmes. 2. Deuxièmement, faciliter l'accès au financement pour les femmes entrepreneurs. Troisièmement, promouvoir l'éducation et la formation professionnelle pour accélérer l'autonomisation économique. 4. Mettre en place des programmes de sensibilisation sur la santé mentale et reproductive. 5. Encourager l'implication des hommes dans les discussions sur l'égalité des sexes. 6. La mise en réseau des femmes de l'AfWID pour créer de la richesse et pérenniser les acquis et la dynamique qu'a initié l'AfWID. La conclusion. La séance d'échange a mis en lumière les progrès réalisés, mais aussi les défis encore présentants pour les femmes africaines. Les discussions ont permis d'identifier des actions concrètes à entreprendre pour assurer un avenir plus équitable et inclusif. L'engagement des femmes et des acteurs sociaux, politiques et économiques demeure essentiel pour transformer ces recommandations en réalité tangible. Fait à Johannesburg le 31 janvier 2025. Vive la femme, vive l'Afrique de l'Ouest, vive le continent africain. Unissez-vous pour le bonheur de nos enfants et pour le bonheur de notre continent.
Thank you very much, West Africa. Ladies, thank you very much for all of the statements that you've made. We have seen peace, security, inclusivity, equality, economic participation, acknowledgement and knowing our own rights, the front line of education and health and building a future for younger women on the continent. So thank you very much for sharing. Good luck with your initiatives that you implement in your respective regions. Thank you. Ladies, before we go into our next segment of the program, I just wanted to remind you of a very important note that you need to ensure that you have and that you do check out of your rooms on time. Otherwise, the hotel will be charging you personally for your room. So please ensure that you check out on time accordingly, and that you return all of your headsets as well, because obviously that is a cost too. So our next item on today's agenda is going to be some personal commitments that have been established through the course of learnings and undertakings and listening to the voices that have been expressed in the conversations across the AfWID week. So, Helene, if you can just advise me who's coming onto the platform first. Nana Mahomola, if you can please make your way to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm seeing bright and happy faces, hopefully happy from having been here for a whole week with beautiful sisters, mothers, and daughters. We are the beautiful women of Africa, and we are here to make sure that our continent grows and thrives. What a week it has been. A week full of energy, vibrancy, festival of ideas, I mean, I've been to conferences, but the ideas that were coming up in the last couple of days are sort of a miracle. Beautiful colors all over the place. I mean, I saw so many dresses, I thought I want every one of them. Love the diversity, young and old, you know, different levels of education. But for me, what was more important is the hugs and the warmth. You know, this is what punctuated this conference, full of love. You know, where women are together because we share common problems, let's face it. And we also share same aspirations. So it's easy to love each other when we meet. We will be sharing with you the 10 points that have been put together by a team of very hard-working women. They've been at it from yesterday up until this morning. What we are going to present is what actually came from your own mouths, your wishes, your desires. And what we're going to have to be looking at is how we implement what we have come up with. AfWID, I need to remind us, is not an organization, but it's a movement. If you look at this book, and I'm going to encourage you to keep it with yourselves, page 52 will explain to you what do we mean when we say AfWID is not an organization but a movement. It's a movement because there's no structure, there are no leaders, and there are no elections. So we are all in charge of what will be happening as far as AfWID is concerned. So you are encouraged to choose your course, and you champion your cause according to your own means. The 10 points that we have been identified, you can use any one of them that will champion. You choose your point, but you commit yourself to the point. You are not committing an organization, and you're not committing a political party or a government. Because if we do that, we're going to lose control of what our cause is. So do what is within your ability and within your own means. So do not take something that, yes, you're passionate about it, but you're not able to do it. That's not going to help us. So your action then will be based on the cause that you choose. Now, we're going to read out the 10 points to you. If none of the 10 points you're able to champion or you don't have the means to action, I encourage you to just love each other. You know, loving each other is strong enough. In one of the sessions, one of our daughters, in my case, spoke about how living away from home, the one thing that she missed is love. You know, being hugged, being pampered by the people who know you. So many of us yearn for love. You know, love is that which fits the heart, it fits the spirit, but also more importantly, it fits the mental health. If you do not have love, it's difficult to share love. So whatever we do, if we cannot implement these 10 points, let's at least love each other. When you love, it means you say to somebody, I acknowledge you, I see you, and I acknowledge you. So we will be reading the statement. As I said, the 10 points. 10 different countries have been chosen to read one of the 10 points. So, you know, when you listen, you see that this came out of 5 beautiful days of love. And we are here to share that with you. I will start off with the, just preamble that says that AfWID Dialogue 2025, and our pay line is Women's Voice and Power as Agents of Change. I am the one that Africa has been waiting for. The personal commitments for advancing the AfWID agenda are as follows. I recognize that institutions are important, but their effectiveness depends on my personal agency to drive the change and influence the spaces that I occupy. My advocacy for African women begins with love and self-acceptance that is first shared in my own home, then extended to the community, and I commit to articulating and supporting African women wherever I can through the actions that I will be taking when I speak and in the spaces in which I engage. As a participant in this conference, I commit to the following actions to advance the AfWID agenda. So my sisters and daughters will read the 10 points, and they'll read in their own native language so they can be comfortable sharing what the 10 points are. Thank you. I don't know who's first on the line.
Thank you very much, Nana, for introducing the points of commitment.
السلام عليكم. أنا عذراء بويونس من الجزائر. إننا كوفد جزائري فخورين جدا بهذه المشاركة مع إخوتنا الأفارقة الذين تربطنا معهم هذه الأرض الطيبة المباركة. اليوم هو انتصار للمرأة الإفريقية، وتمكيننا اليوم يكون من خلال المعرفة. إنني ألتزم بالسعي بنشاط للحصول على معلومات موثوقة وموثقة، وأتعهد بتثقيف نفسي باستمرار حول الحركة النسائية الإفريقية والمشاركة بهذه المعرفة بكل مسؤولية مع جميع النساء الإفريقيات. أنا أدرك أن قوتنا الجماعية تكمن في المشاركة الحقيقية وإعطاء أصوات للنساء، وسأعطي الأولوية لنشر المعلومات ذات الصلة التي تم التحقق منها لتمكين المرأة في مجتمعي. الشفاء يكون عبر الاعتراف بالصدمة والاحتياج النفسي. أقر بأننا جميعاً نحمل صدمة عبر الأجيال، وإذا أردنا المشاركة بفعالية يجب علينا أولاً معالجة هذا الألم. إنني ألتزم بدعم عمليات الشفاء الذاتي، وأدرك أن التغيير الحقيقي يبدأ بالشفاء الشخصي والتعاطف الجماعي. سأعمل على تعزيز البيئات التي يمكن للنساء فيها مشاركة تجاربنا بأمان، وحيث يصبح الشفاء جزءاً من الحوار والنشاط الذي أشارك فيه. شكراً للجهة المنظمة على هذا الانتصار، فلتحيا المرأة الإفريقية للأبد. شكراً.
Thank you very much. So that was the reading of our first sort of statements in Arabic, and our next statement will also be read in Arabic, focusing on, previously it was empowerment through knowledge, and now we're doing healing and acknowledging trauma.
Buenos días, hermanas africanas. Yo soy del Sáhara Occidental, represento a la República Saharaui. Voy a leer los puntos 2 y 3. El punto 2, defensa de las mujeres refugiadas, desplazadas y mujeres bajo la ocupación. Defenderé a las mujeres desplazadas, refugiadas bajo la ocupación, en particular a las afectadas por la migración, asegurándome de que tengan acceso a los recursos, derechos y apoyo que necesitan. Crearé y participaré en plataformas para que nuestras voces sean escuchadas. Y trabajaré para eliminar las barreras a nuestra libertad y oportunidades. Mi defensa se basará en el reconocimiento de nuestra dignidad inherente y lucharé por nuestro empoderamiento siempre que sea posible. Inclusión y responsabilidad personal. Me comprometo a ser inclusiva y promover la diversidad. Me comprometo a pensar en la mujer primero, en todo lo que haga. Actuaré en solidaridad con las mujeres africanas, apoyándome mutuamente de formas tangibles y significativas. No esperaré a que el gobierno actúe, sino que asumiré la responsabilidad personal de hacer los cambios que deseo ver como mujer. El cambio colectivo comienza con mis acciones individuales y utilizaré mi influencia para lograr la transformación positiva que buscamos todas las mujeres africanas. Muchas gracias. Quiero aprovechar la oportunidad para agradecer a AfWID y esperemos vernos en las próximas ocasiones. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. So this was our segment on advocacy for displaced women and the fourth commitment of inclusivity and personal accountability. And moving on to our next set of commitments.
Bonjour à tous. Défendre la paix et la solidarité. Je plaiderai en faveur de l'inclusion des femmes dans la consolidation de la paix et la résolution des conflits, en veillant à ce que nos voix soient entendues dans les négociations, depuis la base jusqu'aux discussions du haut niveau. Je favorisais la solidarité au-delà des frontières en soutenant les femmes africaines dans les zones de conflit et veillera à ce que mes actions reflètent les valeurs de paix, d'unité et de progrès collectif. Renforcer le mouvement des femmes africaines. Je m'engage à participer activement au mouvement des femmes africaines en veillant à ce qu'il reste inclusif, dynamique et réactif aux divers besoins des femmes africaines. Je soutiendrai la création d'une plateforme unifiée pour un plaidoyer collectif, renforçant les voix des femmes à travers le continent et reconnaissant que le mouvement est autant une question d'action individuelle que de changement collectif. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. So those were our statements on championing peace and solidarity and strengthening the African women's movement.
Saudações a todas. Eu sou a Jamaíla Afura Brites Calu, moçambicana, antropóloga e ativista. É com honra que declaro o 7º compromisso relativo às soluções sustentáveis e soberania alimentar. Nós iremos suportar mulheres envolvidas em produção agrícola sustentável e soberania alimentar, advogando por políticas que priorizam a agroecologia e a liderança das mulheres e justiça ecológica. Iremos promover a educação sobre estas questões e garantir que as nossas ações refletem o nosso compromisso de proteger as sementes nativas, empoderar mulheres agricultoras e aumentar a resiliência dos sistemas alimentares de África. Obrigada.
That was a summary on of our commitment to sustainable solutions for food sovereignty.
Wanawake safi! Wanawake oye! Habari kila mmoja, naitwa Fatma Said Kauga kutoka Tanzania, Afrika Mashariki. Uwezeshaji wa kiuchumi kwa wanawake. Nitahamasisha uelewa wa masuala ya kifedha na uhuru wa kiuchumi kwa wanawake wa Afrika, nikiunga mkono juhudi zinazowawezesha kwa zana za rasilimali za kufanikiwa. Nitapinga mifumo ya kiuchumi ya mfumo dume na kutetea sera zinazowawezesha wanawake kiuchumi. Ahadi yangu binafsi kwa haki ya kiuchumi inaanzia nyumbani kwa kufundisha elimu ya fedha na kukuza uhuru wa kiuchumi katika jamii yangu. Ulinzi na usalama kwa wanawake. Nitapigania sheria madhubuti za kuwalinda wanawake dhidi ya ukatili na kuhakikisha usalama wa wanawake unapewa kipaumbele katika maeneo ya migogoro na kwingineko. Nitasimama kwa mshikamano na waathirika wa ukatili, nikitoa msaada wa kimatendo na kihisia pale inapohitajika. Ahadi yangu ya kuwalinda wanawake inaanzia kwa kuhakikisha kuna maeneo salama katika maisha yangu binafsi na ya jamii yangu. Wanawake oye! Wanawake safi! Mungu ibariki AfWID, Mungu ibariki Afrika. Thank you.
Thank you. And moving on to our last statement.
Hello everyone, my name is Marie Justine Mutawazi. I'm here representing the Rwandan Refugee Women Delegation. Empowerment through my voice and networks. I recognize the power of my voice and networks as tools to advocate for women's rights. I will use my influence to amplify the voices of African women, supporting solidarity and collective action. I understand that leadership emerges from the shared responsibility, and I commit to taking action that furthers the cause for gender equality. Thank you.
Thank you very much for reading our last commitment. So ladies, those were our 10 commitments that have resulted out of the AfWID week, and we're handing over to Nana to give some concluding remarks.
First of all, thank you for the Daughters of Africa who read out the 10 points. So out of the 10 points, you can choose one or more. As I said earlier, choose the one that you're more passionate about, where you'll be able to commit your time and resources. And if you are not able to take any one of the 10, we did say that continue to support women, continue to love each other. Be the one that Africa has been waiting for. So these personal commitments are a reminder that the change we seek begins with each one of us. Through my actions, I am to contribute to the AfWID agenda, knowing that individual efforts, when combined, have the power to create a lasting transformation. Each step I take will inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of empowerment that uplifts African women and strengthening our collective future. Once again, thank you for participating. Thank you for all the energy that you brought to the rooms. And as you leave this country to your various destinations, be the one that Africa has been waiting for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nana, and really strong words. Be the one that Africa has been waiting for. Ladies, continuing with our program, we have a special keynote, and that is Mam Phumzile Mlabonuka, who's going to be making her way to the platform very shortly. One thing that I wanted to say, and she has worn many, many hats in her life, I find that she's got a very interesting way of putting things into perspective and putting things which have been perceived norms in our minds and making us challenge the thinking. And I remember in one of the interviews that I had with her, she spoke about the idea that when we think about these quotas which have been given out, where they'll say, and this year we're going to give a 30% representation of women to X, whether it is procurement, whether it is a parliamentary position, whether it is in business. And then she said, but that means that we are giving 70% to men. So I really appreciate the way that she challenges the way that we think about perceived norms and to tackle them on their head and change the status quo. So thank you very much. A round of applause, please.
Thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you so much to all of you who are here. I first want to thank Women in Dialogue, thank Sis Zanele and the leadership that surrounds her for this amazing occasion. I think they deserve a big round of applause. It is not a small thing to bring women from our continent. It is not a small thing to have all our countries together, in particular women, and in particular grassroots women. So thank you so much for that. AfWID Dialogue is about being ourselves. Nobody is above, nobody is below. Everybody's idea is valid. Everybody's experience is valid and it deserves respect. And it is about being inclusive, and it is about making sure that all the voices are heard. We continue to try and fine-tune that, and if along the way we missed, you must know we are trying, and when we fall forwards, not backwards, so that we do better next time. I also stand here to express my own appreciation for what women shared here, both the joys and the pains, where we are as a continent and where we are supposed to go to. When Sizanele first told me about this gathering, at that time, Mozambique was not what it is today. DRC was not what it is today. In Sudan, we're already seeing the signs of what we have now. But I did not imagine that on this day, it will be as bad as it is. I had imagined that here, most of the time, we would be strategizing and planning for the future and addressing the short steps that we have taken so that we can take bigger steps going forward. I thought there would be some good time to celebrate, which I think we tried to squeeze in, but I did not imagine that we would be so heavily and so much in pain about what is happening to the countries that are in conflict. But thank you for the solidarity that you've expressed to the women of Sudan, the women of Mozambique, and the women of DRC, the women of South Sudan, who also are still struggling. We were meant here to celebrate the 30 years of Beijing, and we have to remember that Africa in Beijing in 1995 was a critical role player. It was because of Africa that the issue of girls' education was so high in the Beijing platform. You, those who were there, I think there are many who were not born then, but those who were there, you will remember that the issue of women's education was so critical. And as a result of that fight, you saw what happened in Africa after that. Countries who had the enrollment of girls as low as 30% at the time raised the enrollment of girls up to 70%. I know that here in South Africa, we literally reached 100% at some point, but it was because of the call of the African women. It was the African women in Beijing who raised the concept of a girl child, who said a girl is not just a girl, is not just a child. It is a girl child, and we have to call her as such, because it is only a girl child who suffers forced marriages because she's a girl. It is only a girl child who misses out of education because she's a girl child. It is a girl child who has problems with nutrition at her own home because she's a girl child. It is a girl child who suffered gender-based violence because she's a girl child. Thank you, African women. You know that right now we have not conquered, but we have placed that issue firmly on the agenda. We have to continue. In Beijing, African women also raised the issue of economic empowerment, and they were able to dissect the fact that the empowerment of women is not just what you can do for women right at the top, which even up to now hardly happens, but they agitated for the entry of women and the ownership of property rights at all levels. We are not there yet, but the issue's on the agenda. So we trust that in your own countries, you will continue alongside the 10 points that were read to make sure that all of these issues you can take forward. But I want to highlight the issue of women, peace, and security, which is almost exclusively ours in some cases because of the number of women that still suffer, are killed, and exploited because of disruption of peace and security in Africa. I do hope that as we go home, as we tackle all of these issues, we will realize that we can never have the peace that we need in Africa if we are not involved as women. We will remember that many of the people who govern and lead us, we choose. We really have to do something about choosing correctly. We are the majority of the people who vote. Can we make a pact with ourselves to decide in each country who we want and why we want them? And then marshal all our votes behind those people who represent our interest. We cannot be sabotaging ourselves or boycotting the elections because both methods don't work. We have to come forward, but we have to choose correctly. And I hope that by being here, we have encouraged ourselves to make the right decision. I also have a message as I conclude from one of our sister, mother, leader, Mrs. Marshall, who couldn't be with us today because of ill health, but also because of the stress and strain that she's dealing with in Mozambique, as you know. She wanted me to send you this message and to thank you for the solidarity that you have shown for the women of Mozambique. And she says, sisters, mothers, daughters, and leaders of Africa, I send my heartfelt greetings to you all and deeply regret that I cannot be with you in person. Let me take a moment to appreciate my sister, Zanele Mbeki, for her vision and leadership in founding African Women in Dialogue. To the 1,000 women from 54 countries across Africa, I commend all of you for coming together, sharing insights, and addressing the pressing issues impacting women and our children. The theme of this gathering, strengthening the continental African women's movement towards a new value-based ecosystem, could not be more relevant at this pivotal time in our history. I can imagine you have many takeaways from the past few days. In my message, I want to share 3 points. The reality we face. I never imagined I would witness the unrest and turmoil that Mozambique has endured in the recent times. My heart aches as I watch the conflicts unfolding in Goma, DRC, in Sudan, and elsewhere across our continent, knowing that there is immense suffering that is being brought to women and children. We stand together today, not just as women, but as the beating heart of Africa's future. History has shown that no peace agreement, governance structure, or development agenda can be truly sustainable without the voices of women shaping its course. Yet, Africa remains burdened by prolonged conflicts, conflicts that have stolen our sons and daughters, shattered our communities, and drained our resources meant to uplift our generations. This call to action, as you conclude this dialogue, I leave with you is solidarity cannot be passive. Acknowledging our struggle is not enough. We must act. We must create, not just participate. We must lead, not just support. We must love beyond our declarations and promises. Now is the time to forge new, bold, and hands-on strategies for conflict resolution, mediation, and interventions. One that disrupts entrenched system on violence, challenge economic exploitation, and prioritize the dignity and the power of its people. Our movement, our future, we are not bystanders to Africa's transformation. We are the transformation. Let me just commit, not just today, but every day, to strengthen our continental African women's movement that is fearless in speaking the truth, relentless in demanding justice, unwavering in shaping new value-driven ecosystem. Peace, equality, and progress cannot remain mere aspirations. They must become our lived realities. A united future awaits. The future of Africa depends on the courage, resilience, and collective force of its women. Let us rise, let us act, let us lead. Aluta continua, the struggle continue, and the victory is certain. I thank you. Amandla. Amandla. Igama lamakhosikazi. Igama lamakhosikazi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Powerful words indeed. We all have choices, and we all should be making collective actions as we make those choices ourselves. The last element that I'm going to do as a handover in the program is to Linda Vilakazi, who is from the AfWID Secretariat and has been doing a tremendous amount of organizing and coordinating and rallying and support. So, Linda, if you're ready, I will pass the podium across to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you all so much. You made it, hey? The whole 5 days plus the traveling days, you are still standing. I think we should all be proud of ourselves. It's not an easy 5 days, but it was good. My job is easy. It's to thank all those energies that were behind us and made your travel, your preparations, your being here, and hopefully your departure pleasant. We want to wish you all a safe, good journey home, but let's stay connected because as you've seen, the job is still to be done, and I think it's all been said today. I'm going to start with the sponsors and partners that made AfWID a success, and they're all in your book on page 61 so that you can remember them, and maybe one day from your countries we get other partners that will make it easy for you to travel. The people on the board are really the backbone. When we say to you, we don't pay, we help you travel, we pay for the venue, but we also help find other things like Wi-Fi. It is all the people on the screen. To them we say, thank you, thank you. You can see the diversity. There's even a university that's helped us with the intellectual thinking. If you move on to page 62 of your book, you will see long lists of names. I want to emphasize everyone on this book whose name appears has been a volunteer. People have come together to help us in many, many aspects of putting AfWID together. We've had women that we call the steering committee. Shout out to them. Raise your hand, steering committee. Or you can stand up if you are in the room. Any member, there's 6 women who have really, really helped us. Yes. Halala. We also have women in each and every country of this continent. All the 55 countries. That's the woman who first came to you and said, there's this funny thing called AfWID, they want you to come. Those are the women who helped us maintain the diversity because they know the country better. We don't. In every country, there's a woman. We've put them as East Africa, Central. Please stand up if you are still in the room. East Africa, all of you, there they are. Central Africa, West Africa, Southern Africa, and North Africa. Thank you. They are all traveling back home with you. It's a commitment they made that they'll make sure you get home safe. And they'll make sure we remain connected. You, them, and us, and everybody who was here. To create the program and give you that menu that you've been walking through since Monday all the way, even dancing last night. Somebody created that. And those are the people that we call our content partners and contributors. You can see their name. They've made sure that the quality, the meditations you went through, the breast cancer talks, and many other discussions you had, it's other people that came and said, we will do it. We simply said, we think there should be a theme like this, and they came on board to deliver the content. So thank you. If the curators are in the room, please stand up. Let's see your faces. There they are, there they are. I hope you're starting to appreciate that AfWID is us and you. These women gave their time because they understood there will be no AfWID unless they stand up and do the pieces that they can. It's about doing that which you can. There's another amazing group. They work behind the scenes. Their theory is you have traveled here, you received the program, which is a sign that you are here. Even those at home that doubted where you're going, you come back and say, look where I was, the things we were talking about. But these other women, in the book, we call them the media team. They then say, how about throughout the week? We write stories, we take pictures, And the whole of last night, they worked hard such that this morning at 9 o'clock, we received the magazine. Please, media team, stand up if you are in the room. There are not many, just watch. And the journalists that wrote, please stand up. The magazine is here. You're going home with proof that you are here, but there's also stories about what happened. You are very lucky if your picture shows up in the magazine. Time is not easy when you need to translate a full document. They have been translated. We will send electronic copies of other languages, but they're there. So it's just that given the time, it's not easy to print in all languages. And you know how complicated your languages are. So it takes an expert. But thank you, media team. We move on to the group that we just have a group that we want to do special thank yous. I hope you're looking into your own program. You can see them there. Special thank yous shows you that in addition to the many things you see, there are a lot of other things that happen in the system to keep AfWID and the week going. I'm not going to read all of them under special thank yous, but I really, really want to give a huge shout out to a company of 2 women who are under 40 or 50 rather, who made sure each and every one of you has a ticket in their hand, Web Travel. If they are in the room, please stand up. Again, this is a sign to the things we talk about, we try to implement. This is a very small company. We could have gone to big companies that have branches all over the continent, but that's a 2 women, black women-owned company, and they delivered. I will be wrong not to thank Birchwood, who hosts 1,200 people, feeds them 3 times a day, and responds to your individual needs. You have needs, women. I'm learning every day, but thank you, Birchwood. I think they've kept us safe, eh? You can bring 1,000 people and the ceiling can fall in. There could be a run out and somebody threatens us. They've literally kept us safe with even a team of security that none of us saw, because they committed to us because they understand why we do this. They committed that there will be security or else we don't get permission to host. But we will never see a security person. We will only see them should there be a crisis. And there's never been a crisis, and we've never seen them. Thank you, Birchwood, for understanding women. That little beautiful pink bag you carried the whole week came from a woman. She doesn't even have a company yet. She was making 1 bag in 3 months when people come and ask her for a little bag. We came to her, we said, can you produce 1,300 bags? She said, you're crazy. I've never done 20 at a time. How do I do 1,300? She's on page 59. She, with her mother and her daughter and 2 other women, produced all your bags. Mokoena sisters, stand up please if you're in the room. As you walk into that meeting, into that church service, into that community service, hold that bag with pride because it's got AfWID on it. All of you had lanyards. They're made in beads. They were made by a small group of women in the rural part of one of our provinces, KwaZulu-Natal. They don't have a company. They are not registered because beads are part of our culture of communicating. We said, can you bead 1,300 of these? They said, we'll try. They are in the book. You've seen them. Did they try or did they excel? The Matonsi Simunye women, if you are here, please stand up. There they are. Okay, I'm going to stop there with the special thank yous, but the rest are in the book. We then had small sessions from Monday to Tuesday in small groups, breaking barriers, connecting to self and to others. I'm told in some group they were full on Monday. On Tuesday, they saw the market. Half of you were at the market shopping. The market is part of the dialogue. But whatever relief and connection you made in this group, in that group, it was a result of 50 selfless women who volunteered to host you in those groups. Their names are all in the book. Please, let's applaud them. If Buni is still here, who helped get all the 50, Buni, please stand up. Any of the facilitators who's still here, please stand up. Let's see you, let's acknowledge you, let's give you love. You helped us with the burdens we carry throughout our lives, and I hear some have made connections to keep talking. Thank you to Breaking Barriers, Connecting with Self Group. Every single session that took place since Monday till now, it's being reported so that we can now produce a third document. Who went to the writing workshop yesterday? I hope they told you the importance of women learning to write their stories and document. As AfWID, we're writing our story to the world to see what it takes to work with each other without boundaries. So we keep writing. There'll be a report as a third document to the two you have that's going to document the entire week. If there's any discussion you missed, there'll be a report. It will go online because we're going to take 3 months to put it together. But there's been a team of rapporteurs from our local university, the University of Nelson Mandela, and they've been writing since day one, and they captured every little thing, every side event. May I please ask the rapporteurs, whose fingers are sore at this point, to please stand up. The rapporteurs, Simran and Tim, they're still at the back, some of them writing still. Thank you, rapporteurs. They left their university jobs to come and help us. Of course, I come with the Secretariat. We are the team that has harassed you, that you have harassed correctly so, and I'm not going to minimize some of the pushes you gave us, some of the challenges, some of the demands, because with every demand we learn. I tell my friends that if you really want to understand the continent, come work with us. You get to know the continent better than what's written about it, because we get it from you. You've been talking to us as the Secretariat since day one, and we will be talking even after this, because AfWID is not just a dialogue. It is the network we've created, that invisible sisterhood. Let's carry it, let's spread it. May I ask humbly, the Secretariat and the interns, we were so overwhelmed, we called unemployed graduates to work with us, and we called them interns. They are all in the book. May I kindly ask those very, very tired members of the Secretariat and the intern Secretariat to stand up so that we can give them love. There they come. And Samantha at the back, and Nonsiba somewhere. The continent has renamed Poor Nongleba to Nonsiba. Last but not least, without this group, there would have been no AfWID. They've been the soul, the heartbeat, they've been the glue, they've been the muscles that carried even you and your bags at times. They've even taken you shopping. They have helped you open the door. We were very mindful that some of us, it's the first time we travel, and we were trying hard to find a friendly face that will be the first face you see when you land at the airport, so that you are assured you are in good hands, and they would be the last face you see when you leave. Unemployment is really high in this continent, and I think even globally. In South Africa, you will cry. There's a lot of qualified young people who sweated it out in school, even in university. They're struggling to get jobs. Every time there's a dialogue, we reach out and bring 60 of them. That's why you had somebody called a host for your country. That's a young person who's unemployed, but volunteered because they're not selfish and said, at least when I volunteer, I get exposed. There's 60 of them in this room. I want us to give the loudest shout out to the volunteers. They're so tired. I had asked them to even try and walk up here. Look at them. I feel for them. Some are already at the airport, taking others to go back. Volunteers, we can never find the right words to say thank you to you, and may you, in the years coming, even if you get jobs, in that job, continue to show the amazing humility and giving that you did to the women of this continent. We thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Linda. Those amazing thank yous, and especially the special thanks that you highlighted on all those little nuances which have made things possible, from beaded lanyards to special bags. Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you very much for everybody who has participated. Thank you to the AfWID Secretariat for convening this, because without you, without the brainchild of Mamzanele Mbeki, we wouldn't have an AfWID. So thank you very much for the conceptualization, and thank you very much, ladies, for joining and participating in this amazing week of events. I hope you take away a lot of learnings, a lot of value that you impart to others, to share your experience and kind of keep sharing the AfWID network, that it grows not just within you, but within the communities that you go back, and we just expand and grow this network even further when you go home. The next aspect of our program, yes, please.
I made a huge mistake. I really apologize. I made a huge mistake. Maybe I'm nervous too. I really wanted to thank the women outside who created the market. Wasn't it beautiful? And they too are self-organized. Nobody organized them. We don't. We just put tables and hope to God somebody comes with something. Thank you, women out there who gave us the market. Last two, when some of you were not well, there was a team of medics who always ran to your room and made sure you are well. Can we give them a shout out? Thank you, medics. That's why I said I made a huge mistake. How else could we have spoken in our own voices if it wasn't for the interpreters in the booth? Thank you, interpreters. Big shout out to you. Thank you.
Okay. You know, I think, Linda, that's one of the things. There's so many people that put all of these little pieces together, and it's the fabric, it's the glue, it's the volunteers, it's people who've given their time. And when things run seamlessly like they have done, you don't notice, because it's all those invisible threads that have been operating together. So with all of that said, our last item on the agenda is really about going off to lunch as we close off on our thank yous. There is one thing that I want to read to you today, and I know it's slightly out of context because it's a British philosopher, but his name is Gilbert Ryle. And one of the reasons that I want to read this to you is because of thinking about ourselves, how small we may be in this world, that we have these opportunities. It doesn't matter where we come from, where we're going to. And it's about being brave, and it's about being courageous. And he says, you're a ghost driving a meat-coated skeleton made from stardust, riding on a rock, hurtling through space, fear nothing. So ladies, go out and fear nothing. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's a key one. Please, may you leave all the headphones and the little switch on the chairs. It is very useless when you walk outside this place. And then we pay for it because it's lost. And thank you for those who kept them coming back. Thank you. You can.